What's up, you guys? How you doing today? We're again with another how to tattoo video. Um, Today we're gonna be talking about a specific subject which you guys have been asking me about, and I just want to talk about it in the best way I can and give you guys my tips and my opinion on how I do it. So with no further ado, let's get into the video. So I've had a lot of questions on a specific subject, which is what voltage do I use for my lining and for my shading. So I want to give you guys a quick rundown to the best of my ability on what to do and what not to do. So the first thing we're going to talk about is voltage or tattoo voltage. What is pretty much tattoo voltage? This is the power that is needed to run the machine. This power comes from a 5.5 volt all the way to 12 volts, which is the highest volt. So here I have three different types of power supply. I have the first one, which is the power you just connect to the power supply with a foot pedal, and you get your machine running. The second one is the battery pack, where you just connect it to the battery, to the RC of the machine, and you're ready to run. And then the last one is the wireless tattoo, which you just connect and you're ready to rock and roll. Keep in mind, these three that I just showed you, they're all different types, but they all do the same function, which is just giving the machine the power to run it. Now the main question is, what voltage is used for lining or shading? The answer to that question is there is no specific voltage for lining or shading. I'll say it again. There's no specific voltage for lining or shading, and these are the reason why I said that. One of the reasons why I said that is because of the speed of the machine. I have two different machines here by two different two different brand. They both said you can run it up to 12 voltage. The problem with that is if I put both of this machine on a 12 voltage, they will line in a different way. Or let's say if the lining voltage, I set the lining voltage for 9, this one might hit faster than this one. I know a lot of you guys have gone through a whole lot of videos where the person would tell you, oh, the standard tattoo voltage, lining voltage would be 9, or the standard shading voltage would be 9. That's not true. The reason why is because the speed of the different machines that you're using hit differently. If I use a Cheyenne, if I put a 9 on a Cheyenne, I might get a different result from what I would do with a FK iron. The next thing we're going to talk about is your hand movements while you're lining or shading. In my opinion, I run my machine to the speed that I'm capable of working with. I run my machine at a 7. See the difference? Some people will say 9 is the best one. My FK iron, I run it at a 7. And it lines perfectly. And the funny thing is, it's amazing. Yeah, you think that I'm crazy. I also run the same machine at a 7 for my shading. One voltage for both things that I'm gonna do, which is my lining and my shading. I run both of them at the same. I know what you're gonna say. Oh, I'm chewing the skin. No, I'm not chewing the skin. The reason why is I've mastered the machine to the point where I know how I should line with it and how I should shade with it. I barely change my settings to my machine when I'm shading and when I'm lining. So again, what I'm trying to say is the way you work is the way you will be able to line or shade with your machine. So there's no specific voltage. The other thing you have to keep in mind when you're working is your skin. Different clients, different skin. For example, again, I might run my machine at a 7 for clients. Their skin is so smooth, so the machine just glide through it. But I cannot run the same machine at a 7 for clients that their skin is so thick. I have to bump the voltage on this one up to adjust to my client's skin so I get a good line work. Now, with that being said, again, I'm gonna say lining and shading. It all depends on your tattoo machine speed, your hand movement speed, and the skin you're working with. If you're working with a thick skin, you might want to bump your voltage up for your line work, and you might want to put down your shading for your shading voltage for shading. So there's no specific voltage. The reason that is because you're the one working. You're the one that is going to be working on the skin. So you know if you put the machine too high, you might damage your skin. So you work down on a low. If you put the machine on a low voltage, you know you're not going to get those crystalline that you're looking for. So it all depends on how you set your machine, or how thick or how soft the client's skin is. That's how you know what voltage you should use. Now, I'm not telling you, oh, just use any type. It's all trials and error. So you have to test certain voltage and see which one work for your clients before you can start, go too deep into the tattooing. You're not just gonna, use one voltage and then just line and say, oh yeah, I got a perfect lining. It's all trials and error. Again, that's my opinion. That's what I think will work for me. It's all about trying what voltage I need to work on before I actually go really deep into the tattooing. For starter, I'll always say that whatever skin you're working with, make sure you try the voltage that you tried the last time. So let's say if you had a client that came in and you tried a 9 on them and it works perfect, go back to that same 9 voltage and try to see how it works on this client. If it doesn't work, if you think you're not getting the crispy line you're looking for, bump it up a little bit. Or sometimes the reason why your tattoo might not get those crispy line even the way you're doing it is because you're not stretching the skin enough. And that's another video I will work I'll talk about on stretching the skin. But at the end of the day, there's no specific voltage for you to run your machine on when you're lining or when you're shading. It all depends on what you're comfortable are. If you're comfortable at running your machine at a 10 and your hand speed is fast too, then do it. If you're comfortable at working on the machine with an 8 and your hand speed is slow, go for it. So don't let somebody tell you, oh, there's a specific shading and lining voltage you have to use for every tattoo you're doing. It is completely wrong. Okay? With that being said, if there's anything else you guys would want me to talk about, feel free to comment on the video below. Like, subscribe, and I'll see you guys on the next video. Peace.